Hey, everybody. Hi, good evening. Again, thank you for joining. You can look over in your other screen and check out the Monday Night Football without the sound on, so you won't miss anything. Uh, so basically, we're going to go ahead and get started here. What we are working on today or talking about today is traveling in illegal dribble. Before I hand it over, just a couple of things. One, for those of you that attended camp or were clinician at camp this past weekend, thank you for investing your time and resources into bettering yourselves as a clinician or as a camper. I thought it went very well. Coach Camacho was very pleased with how things went. So that's always a good thing. I think a lot of the coaches, that the coaches that joined our panel were really happy about it as well. So it's just a good event to have to benefit our officials who are learning. The other thing is we have training going on, and I think we had about 40 or so new officials show up yesterday for training, new member training, so that's always great. And then our advanced training that's continuing. The other thing I'll say, which I'll remind y'all of at the end of this, is that we have our first general meeting a week from yesterday, Sunday, September 24th at 4 p.m. It's at Alamo Heights. We'll have food starting at 3:30 available for people, and we'll have a vendor there as well. Please spread the word. It's a mandatory meeting. We'll have our rules clinic, lots of rule changes this year, and also our sexual harassment presentation, which is also mandatory as a member. So please make every effort to go. If for some reason you cannot, please contact your group representative to let them know why. Only people that contact their group rep will be allowed to do the makeup. So please make sure you do that. But again, also, if you see or talk to any refs, please let them know and remind them about the meeting. We'll also be sending out reminders throughout this week. So on that note, so again, our topic is illegal or traveling in illegal dribble. I have, as you all know, we have different people leading our discussions every week. And so I have asked Devin Judkins to lead the discussion on traveling and illegal dribbling for this session. Devin transferred into SABOA, I think, 4 years ago or 3 years ago?
This will be my in an SAPOA.
Yeah, so he's been with us a while. He's worked all levels and playoffs of basketball. So we are glad to have him be a part of our chapter, as we are with everyone. And so I'm gonna go ahead and hand this over to Devin. So Devin, go ahead.
Awesome. Hey, great to be with you all tonight. I know it is Monday night football and everything, but it's always a good time to talk rules. Always great to debate, was it a travel or not, with your co-officials. So thanks for having me. I look forward to getting in this presentation.
And
All
also
right.
remember, everybody, feel free to ask questions. No questions too silly or dumb or anything. We all just want to learn. So please feel free to ask questions and give feedback.
Okay, so as I understand it, we'll kind of start with the definition on the paper, what's in the book version of the rule, so that when we look at the clips later and we have our discussions, we have something to anchor that in, something to refer back to the actual text of the rule. Maybe you'll pick up something that, in case a coach asks you, you can quote from there. So, Rule 4, traveling. Traveling is moving a foot or feet in any direction in excess of prescribed limits while holding the ball. Let me move my little screen here so I can read it. The limits on foot movement are as follows. Article 1, a player who catches the ball with both feet on the floor may pivot using either foot. When one foot is lifted, the other is the pivot foot. And we'll touch back on this. I think each of the clips that we've kind of selected will refer to a different article within the traveling rule. But, most of you guys are veterans, you understand here, but, basically establishing what is that pivot foot and the foundation of picking a pivot foot up and putting it back down, being the core of the rule. See if we can't go to the next one. Okay, Article 2, a player who catches the ball while moving or dribbling may stop and establish a pivot foot as follows. A, if both feet are off the floor and the player lands simultaneously on both feet, either foot may be the pivot foot. We'll touch back on that when we talk about jump stops. If both feet are off the floor and the player lands on one foot followed by the other, the first foot to touch is the pivot. I think we got a great play on that as well. That's kind of that pitter patter that we talk about. If both feet are off the floor and the player lands on one foot, the player may jump off that foot and then simultaneously land on both. In that case, neither foot can be the pivot. That's another version of a jump stop, just depending on where you come down first and when you gain possession of the ball. Now, part B is if one foot is on the floor, then that is automatically the pivot foot when the other foot touches in a step. The player may jump off of that foot and simultaneously land on both. Neither foot can be a pivot in that case, similar to Article 2.3 there. So all the different ways in which you can establish a pivot foot, which will be probably a lot more fun to look at and talk about when we have plays to refer back to that. Article 3, after coming to a stop and establishing a pivot foot, the pivot foot may be lifted but not returned to the floor. Ball is released on a pass or try for goal. That's probably just the most core element of the traveling rule right there. If that's the one you can remember that. Part B, if the player jumps, neither foot may be returned to the floor before the ball is released on a pass or try for goal. And similarly, part C, the pivot foot may not be lifted. Ball is released to start a dribble. We see that a lot. That kind of false step. I'm going to pass it. No, I dribble and I take my step first. That's basically saying if you lift that pivot foot before you, initiate a dribble, or in part B before you, make a pass or try for goal, then that's going to be a travel. Can't jump and then decide to dribble later. Okay, Article 4, long rule here. It's a thick book. After coming to a stop when neither foot can be a pivot, A, one or both feet may be lifted but not returned to the floor before the ball is released on a pass or try for goal. Neither foot may be lifted before the ball is released to start a dribble. So there's the difference there. You can jump to obviously shoot or to make a pass, but you cannot jump, leave your feet to initiate a dribble. So there's the distinction right there and what you can and can't do. And I think we got a good play later on where travel was called that maybe, if reading this shouldn't have been called. So that'll be good to look at. Article 5, a player holding the ball may not touch the floor with a knee or any other part of the body other than the hand or foot. So we see that a lot. After gaining control while on the floor and touching with other than hand or foot, may not attempt to get up or stand. So that's the hand or foot. That's a crucial one there. Obviously it's a knee, but it can also be an elbow. So sometimes we're looking for that knee to hit. Maybe it could be another body part besides just the hand or foot. It's going to automatically be a travel. Before we get on into the illegal dribbling rule, does anybody have a question or clarification or something in regards to the traveling rules? I know they can be a bit dry, but maybe. Okay, we'll plow on ahead. We'll go into the illegal dribble. Rule 9, illegal dribbling. A player shall not dribble a second time after his or her first dribble has ended, unless it is after he or she has lost control because of one of the following. Article 1, a try for goal. Article 2, a touch by an opponent. Article 3, a pass or fumble which has then touched or been touched by another player. Okay, penalty for an illegal dribble. Ball is dead. It's a violation. When the opponent is awarded possession in their front court, the throw-in will be at one of the designated spots nearest the violation. That's kind of one of those rule changes I know to on Sunday with the designated spots, the four spots. When the opponent is awarded possession in their backcourt, the throw-in the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. That's the point of interruption in the backcourt. Okay. All right. Is that the full text of the rules there?
Yes, it is. So I was going to get those clips for you.
Awesome. While Diane's pulling up the clips, anybody got anything on the rules for either illegal dribble or traveling? No. Okay. All right.
I
Saving
got
it.
one for you, David.
Hey, what's going on, Michael? How you doing, man?
Go on, buddy. Got a question. So when we're dribbling in and we jump off 1 foot to land on two in a hop step, are our feet dead, or can we do a step through at that point?
Okay. Start with the scenario one more time, just so everyone can get that real quick.
So A is dribbling to the basket. He initiates or lights off 1 foot, then lands on both feet simultaneously in the paint. Can he step through, or does he have no more movement?
So I think the critical element there, and if you look back to the rules, it says when a player gains possession. Well, if you're initiating a dribble, obviously you have possession. At that point, that's when you kind of refer to, the NBA guys call it the gather, right? When do you take possession? Was it in flight in the air? And in which case, by the time you gain possession, no feet were on the ground, and then you can do the step through. Or did you pick up that dribble and gain possession prior to leaving the ground? In which case, then you jumped, landed on 2 feet, and now you don't have a pivot. So that's kind of like that's the critical moment where we as referees got to step in and say, okay, hey, when did that gather occur? When did the possession occur? When did I pick up the ball? And then what are my options from there? And it's a timing thing. It's a bang bang thing, and sometimes it's really close. Got a good clip here, and we'll say, hey, okay, when did that player pick up the ball? And then can they continue on after they come to that jump stop? Can they initiate a pivot from there? So that's a great question. I think that's one that we miss a lot, or is definitely we're challenged with a lot. Anybody else or thought? Okay, all right. Well, let's jump into it. Diana, maybe let's run through like the clip once or twice full speed, and then we'll maybe slow it down and really look at it as we kind of get discussing it. If that's all right. Okay. Boop. Okay, we popped that travel. Maybe look at it one more time in full speed, and then we'll kind of slow down at that catch point on the wing. All right. We'll open this up for a question. Anybody want to take a gander at why specifically this is a travel, why it was called here in relation to the rules we just read? Anybody kind of want to touch on that? Have a guess, a thought?
Yeah, she shuffled her feet
There
before
you go. Okay, let's who is that? I'm sorry, that didn't say.
It's Sal.
Sal, hey, what's going on, Sal? Cool. Yeah, she definitely does. Let's take a look here if we kind of slow it down. Thank you, Diana, frame by frame. Okay, so at this point, right there, if we can pause it right there, she's now gained possession. Great pause with 1 foot on the floor. Her right foot now, she has full possession of the ball, and her right foot is on the ground. Her left foot is elevated. So her right foot now is the pivot foot. Okay, go ahead and frame by frame and let's keep moving. Boom. Okay, left foot comes down. She picks up the right foot and then sets it back down. Even if she hadn't set it back, but then initiated a dribble after she had left her pivot foot, would have been a travel. But she did pick up that right foot and put it back down. And it was quick, bang, bang. But don't know who the referee is right here, but boom, he was on it, in position, trail, saw it, called it. Probably never thought twice about it. Never thought he'd be famous for calling this travel, but pretty solid call. Anybody see anything else on here? I saw Frank had a message in the chat there. Right foot was a pivot and lifted and then dribbled. Yep, boom. Frank's called a few of those in his time, I'm sure. So yeah, that was pretty straightforward, but it's always a good one to start with. Okay. Anything else on clip one, guys? Anybody want to make a comment? Be a lot more entertaining if it's not me talking the whole time. All right, let's get into the good stuff. Let's see clip two.
Full speed again, right?
Yeah, let's run through full speed a couple times, and then we'll slow down when the action happens. Oh, this is a good play. I remember this one. Okay. Got the travel call out of the sea. Yeah, let's look at it one more time. This is a good one because it kind of touches on some elements we talked about in regards to illegal dribble, right? Let's get it to where the guy's got the ball on the wing and then pause it right there. Okay. So he's going to initiate a dribble, keep going just a little bit
Right.
once the guy on the wing initiates that dribble. Okay, he's going, keep going. I'll tell you when to pause it. Okay. Let's see. When he picks up the ball, go ahead and pause it. Right there. So right before he picks up the ball, it was touched by I think 0, maybe even by 14. So it's not an illegal dribble in this instance because it was a dribble and then a fumble, and that fumble was touched by another player. So I know this is a travel clip and a travel call, but we're also touching on illegal dribble. So that's kind of why I wanted to include this one. Had elements of both. All right, let's spin it forward just a little bit. All right, here he goes. He's third with his left foot. Go back one frame if you don't mind. Could go back a little bit more to right when he picks it up, like the second he picks it up. Keep going forward now. Sorry, I know that you got a tough job here. As soon as he picks up that ball, I believe his left foot is down, but his right foot is in the air.
Right there.
And the camera's looking through his back, but you know the official that makes the call, the C, does have an open look. Now C's a little high here, but that's not the point of this training. But let's stipulate for a moment that he's now gathered the ball. He has possession, as it's termed in the rules, with his left foot down and his right foot up. So that means his left foot is now his pivot foot. So he can't pick it up and put it back down. Let's spin it forward kind of pretty slow and see what he does. Okay, right foot's down. Yeah, he's definitely got possession of the ball. Now, even though he fumbles it in his hand, that doesn't absolve him of having possession, right? You can't just fumble it in your hand without hitting the ground. Left foot definitely comes down there before he decides to pass. Seems like he was thinking, maybe I'll shoot, maybe I'll pass. But that left foot definitely comes up and then comes back down before he makes that pass. So I think that was probably properly called out of the C. Does somebody see something else? Somebody see a tip, or maybe, hey, I don't think it was a travel, or does anyone have a question about it?
Everybody's not as talkative as usual today.
Hey, David. Hey, Dave, I have a question. The guy
Sure.
on the wing, he come close to traveling himself when he started to dribble. Right here.
Or earlier on in the clip?
Yes.
Okay, let's spin it back. Let's see what he's talking about. Maybe we missed something. Of course, you slow these things down. You might catch a lot more travels, but okay, where specifically are you seeing? Before he starts dribbling?
Before.
right
Go back. Right here. Pivot, and like he lifts his left foot up.
Well, it looks like that toe may have stayed down. And you know what? On this video, we have as good a look as, I don't know if that might be Ben right there. I don't know who it is. Whoever that referee is right there on, who's now in the C. He's got a better look than we do on this video clip. He might have lifted it up. I think that left toe might still be down. I don't know. Is anyone, what do you guys see? What does the jury say?
I think it's down.
The toe is down.
Okay.
Yeah, it was still down.
Yeah, it was still down.
It was when he started his dribble, he picked up the pivot foot. He moved the left foot before the ball hit the floor. Right there.
Yeah, see right there?
He moved it. So it was a travel there before there was a travel over here.
Yeah, that's pretty bang bang, but yeah, good spotted. That did not jump off at me at all in terms of when
Because
did
you
he
can't
release that
move
ball
the
to
pivot foot
start the dribble.
until you start your dribble.
Correct.
Yeah, you were on it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the
Like I said,
travel,
you slow
first
these things
travel
down,
was
you might
here,
find several travels in here.
but
good eye.
we got the second travel over here.
Yeah. Well, that's a good call. And I would say in practice, you know, and this is hard to say who this is, but it's probably 6A varsity game. That is so quick in terms of is when the ball releases from his right hand and when he moves that left foot.
Yeah.
That's a tough one probably to call live. And you don't want to get, and we're going to talk about this at the end, but you don't want to get it wrong, right? You'd rather miss a travel than call a phantom travel. But
Right,
certainly
exactly.
in slowing it down in this frame by frame, I mean, that's a great catch. You know, it absolutely was. And this is more about learning the letter of the law. So definitely good pointing that out. But it can be tough in practice, as we all know, on something that bang bang. But good catch.
Well, we don't want gamers interrupt us, that's for sure.
Exactly. That's the other half of the coin there for sure. Anything else on this clip, guys? All righty. Well, let's take a look at the next one.
Right. There you go.
Righty.
It was quick.
Yeah, this one was quick for sure.
Barely catches it.
And this one was probably similar to the first one. But yeah, you almost have to slow this down frame by frame, but we were on it left, then right, and then he actually picks them both up and slides them both. But this can be a tough one because the player's momentum is like he's running into the back court, right? To catch that inbound. And sometimes I think we extend a little bit of latitude here, but I think this guy he takes all the latitude and more, and then there's that shuffle there at the end that just makes it super clear. And this is one, from a call credibility standpoint, you really want to get, because this is out in the open. There's only two players back there when he catches this, both coaches and the 60 people in the stands maybe. And if you miss that one, it's like, boy, man, these guys are blind out here. They're not catching the travel. So good pickup there. Especially when you have two players all by themselves and one guy commits a clear and obvious travel. That's a good get. Does anyone have any questions on why that was a travel or what aspect of the travel rule that was? Anybody want to talk about this clip?
I have a comment on that. What I'll say is I think this is one where positioning was critical because the official was in the right position. They had a great angle to see that. And if they weren't in the right position, they definitely would have missed it. If they were behind the play, I think that would have they would have been straight line. It would have been hard to see. Just an observation.
Excellent point. Would you mind running it back one more time? I want to take a close look at his positioning now that you called attention to it. Okay, so we're in the tee, and he sees we're possible change of possession, hustling, getting back. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, because if you're staring through the defender's back, good chance if you're not deep enough, good chance you don't see those feet shuffle. Good catch for sure. Awesome. Anything else on this clip?
Nope.
All right, that was pretty straightforward.
Okay. This one up.
Okay. Let's take a look at this one. I think I alluded to this one a couple times, but there might be two from Medina Valley. Let's see which one this one is.
Hold on a second. Sorry about that. All right.
Oh yeah, good. This is definitely a clip I want to talk about. Let's run it through a couple times. Let everyone get a good look at this one, and then we'll slow it down frame by frame in a little bit. But let's get a couple live looks at it. Let's go full speed one more time, and then before we go frame by frame on this, and we second guess the crew on the floor, with the advantage of replay and slow mo. What do we think, guys? Travel or not a travel?
No travel.
No travel. Who was that? I'm sorry, it's hard to tell.
Alexander.
Alexander. Okay, Alexander staking it out says no travel. All right, I like it. Taking a bold spot. Anybody think yes, that was a travel, or anybody agree with Alex?
I agree with that. This is John Olson. I agree with Alexander. He comes to a jump stop, then he steps, and he releases the ball before the other foot comes down.
Okay. We got a couple people thinking no, not a travel. Anybody else?
Hey, Dave, this is Mark Strong. I don't think it's a travel either. He just picked up his pivot foot and shot the ball and then returned back to the floor.
Okay. Anybody think, hey, you know what? These guys they're missing it. It is a travel. Anyone think it is a travel?
I don't think so.
No? No? Okay. Okay.
Oh, sir.
All right. Let's run it
It's a
through full
travel.
speed one more
It's a
time.
travel.
You do think it's a travel. Who's that? I'm sorry.
David.
David. Okay. David says it is a travel. David, tell us what you think he did here that was a travel.
Well, the first jump stop, and then he took another step. It looked like he actually does lift his foot and moves his pivot or his
Good.
after. So that's what I think. It just looks
Okay.
really weird.
Well, hey, I'm glad you said that. It would have been boring if we all agreed on everything all night. So we definitely needed to have a discussion, right? So, and Michael asked this question at the beginning. Hey, the jump stop, what can we do? Yes or no, right? And I gave him a whole lot of words that basically said, it depends, right? When do you pick up the ball? When did you gather? Because we read the rule. There was 5 or 6 articles in each one. So it's pretty detailed. So let's get it to where the guys got the ball and then start slowing it down there. And I take a little bit kind of a closer, slower look at it. Okay, boom. Let's go back a little bit more. Let's go back one more. Yeah, here we go. So see the whole action. All right, he's coming. Gains possession of the ball, starts to dribble. Okay. Dribbling. And boom, now he's picked it up. All right, stop, pause right there. So now in the rule that we went through at the beginning, right? It stipulates all the different cases for when basically it starts with when a player gains possession of the ball with how many feet on the ground, 0, 1, or 2, and all the different permutations thereof. So I think we can all agree right now he just gained possession of the ball and both feet are on the floor. This is the traditional jump stop, right? You're dribbling, and then you jump and then gather the ball with both feet landing on the ground. So now in this instance, remember the rules dictate that either foot can be a pivot foot. He has not yet established a pivot foot. So he does a beautiful, classic up and under move. Here's the shot fake. All right, let's spin it forward a little bit. Kind of frame by frame. Boom, gets the guy off his feet. Good move. And then now, okay, he takes a step with the right foot. Now the right foot is now his pivot foot. And then he just steps through with his left. He does jump off the right foot, but releases the ball for a try for goal successfully before his right foot comes back down. Or I'm sorry, his left foot comes back down. The right foot is the pivot. So right foot's the pivot.
Left foot's the pivot. Because he steps with his right, so the left foot is his pivot. If he steps
through. Either foot may be a pivot. Remember, per the
right,
rule.
but
Either
he
way,
stepped. But he stepped with his right foot, which by rule establishes the left foot as his pivot.
the pivot.
Correct. I'm sorry. So he can't come back down with it, and he doesn't.
And he doesn't.
Right? He goes up in the air and he shoots. This is the classic jump stop play right here, right? So now that we've kind of looked through it, what do we think, guys? Travel or not a travel?
I still say
No travel.
No, this is John Olson. No travel.
Last
no
classic pop step.
Who was it? Alexander that said it was a travel, and someone
No.
else. 2 guys, right? What do y'all think?
No, I said it wasn't, and no.
Okay, I'm sorry, Alexander. I didn't mean to put you in the wrong camp.
It kind of looked like he drags his non-pivot foot though too. So it's hard to tell.
It goes up.
He goes up. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing. So that's a good play.
Correct. Yeah. So that and we've all now had a chance to look at it several times, and I got a chance to review this clip before. And that's right, guys. Most of you guys had it. This was not a travel. This was a great basketball play. I mean, it's textbook teaching tape material, right? He's dribbling in. He comes to that jump stop, landing both feet, giving himself the option to continue to establish a pivot foot. He takes one step, and then lifts the other one up, goes for a try for goal. That's a great basketball play. And this is where a couple of clips go about, every so now you may miss one. We frame by frame, we slowed it down and said, hey, did he release the ball of his right hand before he took the step? I don't know. And we didn't call that one. We did call another one later. But right here, who knows? Well, we've got the score right there in the bottom. But we take a great basketball play off the board of team down by 7 and calling a travel because we guessed. And we're kind of far away from the play too, right? The calling official. So
I was
this
just
is
going to
where
say that he looks like he's I mean, he's got 2 or 3 players in front of him, and he's looking at backs. He's not really in position to make that call. I think the trail had a better look at it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I agree with you there. And that's one of the ones where I think a lot of times we see something and you know what, maybe it's slower than we expected, or maybe a different move than we expected, and we kind of guess, right? We don't want to guess when it comes to a travel. You know, like I said, you rather miss one than call one that's not there, and take away a highlight play from this kid and 2 points from the team and all that. And I think we guessed from pretty far away with, like you said, bodies in between us. And then when slowing it down, no, that's a good basketball play. That's not a travel. So something to learn from. Obviously, when we're going through this training, and this training is all about travels, that doesn't mean come out of this and call everything that looks funny or even close to it and hope it was. That's we want to be accurate with it as much as what we call and what we don't call. So yeah, this is a really great clip to look at. Shout out to Diana for running us through it frame by frame.
David, this is Mark Strong. I have a question.
Yeah.
Like that player is coming from the Trails PCA.
Okay.
So it seems to me that the center called that travel very quickly. If you're gonna call it, at least you could have delayed a little bit. See if the trail was gonna pick it up, but the trail didn't say anything. So I think the C just think he saw a travel, but actually that should have been a trail call all day.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to get to this in a little bit later too. So not only it is the wrong call, which if you're going to don't make the wrong call, right? Let's not do that. But let's certainly not make the wrong call out of our area, right? Because this play it does initiate, like you said, from the trail side. And then also it's moving back towards trail side. So from C, what's that expression we always hear, right? If it curls away, stays away, right? Go away, stay away. Well, this action started away from him and then moved away from him. And we still made that call, and it wasn't accurate. And that could be why, right? But hey, look, that's pretty far away. There's bodies in between us, like we said. We don't want to guess, and then we really don't want to be calling violations out of our primary. That just erodes confidence and trust in our co-official. It's one thing if you have a crew saver foul that absolutely has to be got or something, but on a either could have gone either way travel to go outside of your primary and into your official's lap like that's tough. And now the coach is telling them about it right here. You can hit funny place to pause the clip.
The coach is actually questioning him about that call.
Yeah, absolutely.
The trail had nobody in front of him at all. He had a wide open look at that.
I think we've all been there. We've all maybe gotten frustrated when one of our partners reaches into our area and calls a violation that maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. This one didn't look like it was. So anybody else have any thoughts on this clip?
Devin, it's a quick observation, I guess. If that same player, if you go to where he gathers, if he gathers and lands, let's say he lands left, right, not simultaneous.
Okay.
He gathers, lands left, right. Technically, he can still pivot right, step over right, step through, and jump to lift his left foot and still be legal, correct?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said it left, right, because what does he do here? He picks up his right foot. So let's say he had pitter-pattered a little bit. So his left foot is established as the pivot foot. He can then move his right foot and then even lift his left foot off the ground as long as he does not return that left foot to the ground before he releases the ball on a try for goal or a pass. Now, he could not start a dribble in that instance, which he does. And right, he's obviously making a move to score. So yeah, even if the left foot bangs down a half a beat before the right foot in this case, still not a travel, still a solid basketball play. So good observation there.
And then if he landed with his right first, then we would have had a travel.
Right. Yeah. So if he had established the right foot as the pivot foot, landing on it first, then picked up the right foot and set it back down, then yes, you would have had a travel. So if you would have done that, good way to spin that out, all the different possibilities.
This is one that we call a lot on traveling that I've seen. So this is a really good play to remember and put in the back of your mind.
Yeah, and then just kind of big picture, right? I mean, you think about it, when you make this call, and maybe that was the best play of the game to that point that the crowd has seen, that it just puts you in a bad light. You take away a really good move and a made shot and a basket and all that on something that wasn't accurate. You don't want to be that guy. It's no fun. The official that called it's getting his butt chewed by the coach, maybe rightfully so. So the theme of this is be 100% on what you see. You have confidence in the rule because you've been through it. You know exactly what the rule says, and you saw it clearly, and it's in your primary. Boom, get that all day. Let's not reach and let's not guess. So, thank you. All right, next clip. Got Jefferson Lady Mustangs here. Okay.
The traveling
good
team.
one. Let's watch this again. Okay. All right. One more time here. So we do get a travel call on this. And let's take a closer look to see what happened. Okay. So let's start here with why was this called a travel? What aspect of the rule did she violate? Well, in guessing what the referee's going with here, she obviously does leave her feet. She jumps and then returns to the floor with the ball, right? Which if you can't do that, right? You can't jump up and down without releasing the ball. But is there something else going on here that maybe would be a better call? That's what we're looking at. So what do you guys think in the audience here? Good travel, or do we miss something else maybe?
I'm looking at the
possibly a block.
A foul. Okay.
Might be a push in the back.
They had a foul on the backside, hit her on the head while reaching for the ball.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, I got a foul on that one too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with the push in the back on the player right behind her for the contact. I think she was going to light for a shot, but she didn't get the opportunity. So then it caused her to travel, which maybe C might have had the best look. I think Trail's looking at backs, or maybe Lead.
Yeah, well, it's certainly in Lead's lap, right? This Lead's call all day. Now, hit high from behind. A lot of times you are going to have T get that, right? Especially if it's initiated from T and it's going basket, and that's their primary defender, which is not the case in this place, a pass in. But still, if T sees it up high from behind, that can be hard for Lead. But let's just stipulate for a moment. Let's just say that's a clean block. Maybe she does hit her. It's hard to tell for sure on this video, though you definitely could see where it did happen. But let's say it's clean, right? Let's say foul being played. Let's spin this. But I'm looking to see if somebody sees something else closer towards the end of the play.
Could it be a jump ball? Her hands on top of the ball prevents her from going up and getting the shot off.
Potentially, yeah, absolutely. Dan, can we roll it forward a little bit to where the primary defender is going to get her hand on the ball here? So the girl from behind does make contact with the ball briefly and kind of knocks it loose, but then the secondary defender right there at that moment, great pause. It would appear from here, right? Again, the video is not perfect. We don't have the TN cameras on here, but it would appear right now while the girl's still in the air that the Jefferson girl, the primary defender, and the shooter both have their hand on, or the ball handler, I should say, both have their hand on the ball right here. So someone said jump ball. And I want to get to this later on. We're going to talk about the quote unquote lesser of two evils and when that makes sense and when that doesn't. But I think this is the instance where it does make sense. Again, let's say there was no foul. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. But for this, let's say there was not a foul. Someone said jump ball. Well, the girl from behind, jump ball constitutes simultaneous possession. That's not the focus of this clinic. But to have a jump ball, you do have to have simultaneous possession, right? Just because I poked my finger in there and touched it doesn't mean we both simultaneously possessed it. So the girl from behind, I don't think there was simultaneous possession. But right here, this primary defender, at this moment, it would appear both players equally have the ball, one with each hand, both pushing into each other. That it looks to me like clear simultaneous possession, which is a jump ball, a held ball. And that's where we say, hey, we defer to the lesser of two evils. Well, before there's a travel, right? The girl has not come down to the ground yet. There's a held ball because both are in equal possession of that. So that's where that might have been a better call at this moment based on what we're seeing on film than a travel. And this happens quite a bit. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys see there now that we've kind of gone super slow-mo all the way to the end?
Well, full speed. I thought it looked like she was out of control when we slowed it down, it looked like we missed the foul call, and then the travel, probably wasn't the right call, like you said. Like the lesser of two evils probably would have been a jump ball, just because you already missed it was probably a foul. I mean, it's hard to tell, and then we take the who knows what the score is, but the possession away from the other team. Jump ball probably would have been a better call than a travel right there, because it looked like even maybe a push from the back, or with a body shot, because it looked like she went up clean for the block at first, the primary defender, but when I saw it slowed down, I saw that the secondary defender from the back got the block, but I don't know. It looked dirty all around, like a lot of girls' games that I refed last year.
Okay. Well, let's spin that back. There was a lot of good in there. You're absolutely right, and then we'll kind of look at it and say, hey, okay, well, now what if it was a foul? But yeah, you're right. If there was that primary defender, if that was really a block at that moment, right, and they both had their hand on the ball at that time, then yes, the better call would have been a jump ball as opposed to a traveling violation. That's where you kind of say the lesser of two evils, because if both things are true, let's go with what happened first, right, which would have been the jump ball and not the violation. But let's say, you know what, you guys are right. Let's say that girl did get hit from behind. Maybe in the girl going from behind, she hit her in the head, let's say. And it's hard to tell for 100% on the video. But let's say she did. And then we missed that and then call the travel. Then how do you feel about the play? What do you guys think? Let's say, boom, right there, she's hitting her on the head. Can't say for sure, but let's say she is. She hits her on the head. What do we think now? Do we still call the travel? Do we still call the jump ball? What's the situation?
If she hits on the head, you call on the foul.
You got hit her head, that's a foul.
Exactly. And too many times, and I've seen this, I think we all have, we hear that expression again, the lesser of two evils, right? Oh, well, I was going to call, let's say right now, let's say the trail calls the foul. Boop, pops the foul. But then at the same moment, or very quickly after, the lead now goes, boop, travel. Well, who makes the call there? Who's right and who's wrong, and what call do we go with?
Well, you would have a conference with the trail and the lead, but the foul, she fouled the person first before you had a jump ball.
Perfect, 100%. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear. Number one, boom, let's get together, right? We have two different whistles on two different things, right? You're coming up with a violation, I'm coming up with a foul. We need to talk, right? So absolutely, let's talk. And then this is where you don't want to fall into that lesser of two evils, because that makes no sense. One is a foul that's going to put black on the line to shoot two. The other is going to give white the ball. So those are drastically different outcomes. So throw that out the window. Let's get to what's right, what really happened. And in this case, if this is a foul, the foul happened first before the travel, and maybe even call, or let's say it's not a hit on the head. Maybe she got pushed in the back and then she shuffled her feet, right? And then you come up and you call the travel. Oh, she shuffled the feet. Well, she sure did, but she got pushed in the back. What caused what? Let's get that. Let's get that first action that may have even caused the second action. And even if we have a double whistle, we need to come together and let's talk through the play. Hey, partner, I saw her get hit in the head and fouled prior to her coming back down on the ground and landing. Oh, okay. Hey, boom, 2 shots. Call it, partner. That's how that really should play out.
Look at the angle of her arms, the defender too, right on top of her head.
Right.
Yeah, either she's hitting her on her head or she's barely like a millimeter above it. And it's hard to say, right? The lead in person is going to have a better look than we've got on camera right now. Probably she does hit her. Hard to say for sure, but I definitely did want to talk through it all the different ways. Let's say it was clean. Let's say it was a foul. What should we do? Anybody got any other thoughts or questions about this play?
Hey, Devin.
Yep.
I wanted to talk, could we possibly talk time score, also foul count in respect of, I know that doesn't make us make calls, but in this aspect of the time score, 16-15, 3 minutes 44 to go, 6-1 on the foul count. I'm thinking a foul here maybe is the lesser of two evils. Just from, if I got the angle, if I can see the foul, I feel like it would fit. I don't know. That's just an opinion.
Well, I think as referees, it is it is never a bad thing to be aware of all of the different factors, right? What's the score? What's the time? What's the foul count? It doesn't hurt to have that information, but we've got to be very careful in how we apply that information. And right now, the information would tell me, hey, boom, this is a 1-point game in the second quarter. We're calling this as straight as we can call it. And just like always, our number one job is to be accurate, to be fair, right? That's boom, 16-15, middle of the second quarter. So that's now it is 6-1 on the foul count. We obviously don't know what's been going on in this game. Maybe one's team's press and one's not. Looks like 6 fouls against Jefferson. Maybe that's in these guys' minds. Hey, we don't want to put another cheap one in, and now they're in the bonus. Well, yeah, but if this is a foul right here, and again, it may not be. It might be a clean block. Right now, I don't think, from the way I'm viewing it, I don't think you can 100% say. But if it is a foul and a hit to the head on a shot, it doesn't matter if the foul counts 20-1. That's a foul, and it would affect the scoring opportunity, and we got to call. It's not a little incidental bump at half court and the girl goes by her anyways. That's not this. This is affecting a shot attempt, a scoring opportunity, and would have involved contact to the head. So that supersedes, in my mind at least, any consideration of, well, the foul counts 6-1 and all that. But a great question for sure. Anybody see that or feel about that differently? Maybe one of the veterans. I know we've got a bunch of veterans on this call.
I would go with a foul, and then as she tried to block, she went on the follow through and still hit her on the shoulder.
I agree with you on that, Sal. The key to it is you want to try to get the first violation or foul. And in that particular case, looking at the angle of it, the foul came first.
Yep.
And if it's that type of game where you're having a lot of fouls from one team to the other, this call is kind of critical to the crew. I think it states something about the crew that even though it's 6-1 or 6-0 or whatever, you're not going to let that go by just because you're going to go into the bonus or whatever. I think that's something that needs to be taken care of.
I love that approach, Michael. That's very well said. You know what? We can't allow ourselves to be scared off of doing our job, calling fouls just because they've been fouling. If they're still fouling and this is a shot attempt, she did get hit on the head or she got hit on the shoulder or whatever the case may have been, you got to step up and call it. Just because the account is lopsided doesn't mean we stop doing our job. And if the situation were reversed, and let's say, it was 6 fouls against black and only 1 foul against white, boy, and then you miss this one, and let's stipulate, hey, it was a foul. She really did get hit, and boy, you missed that one, and you call a travel against him. Now you're gonna have that coach and the fans all on you saying, man, these guys are with the other team. It's 8-on-5 out here. That's what they're going to be thinking, because now the foul count is against us. You haven't called nothing for us all game, and then you miss a clear and obvious one, and then you stick us with a travel. That's tough. And even if there is no foul, let's say that's clean. Again, the jump ball would have been a better call than a travel if it's not a foul in either instance. So the travel was probably the third best option in this instance.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, I think that was the last clip, or do we have one more still?
Yeah, can we do well, what is the last fifth one? But since we have a little bit of time, I think it might be good for them to see that steel one.
Oh, sure. Yeah, throw another one on there.
Because we see it a lot, if that's all right.
Of course.
Oh, hold on. I'm playing it and I forgot to share it.
Yeah, these were good clips. We got into some good discussions. Some things weren't really about travels, but hey, that's good. The whole game's connected. So.
Coming.
Gotcha. Okay. Remember this clip. We're looking at that post-entry pass for 14. Gotcha. Yeah, that's the critical moment right there.
That's the big one there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, let's go frame by frame right as she's catching the ball and really get a good look at it, because it is quick and it is close.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yep.
All right. So what do we think, guys? Travel, not a travel?
I say it's the travel. She
I
was
say it's
stumbling
travel.
with the ball.
It looks like when she catches, she comes down on 2 feet, and then when she goes to make her foot move, she jumps and moves both feet again,
Yes.
which in case would be a travel.
Gotcha. Anybody think it's a jump stop?
What? Let me see. No.
No, she was kind of clumsy on her feet on that.
Yeah, she was, wasn't she? Gotcha. Yeah, she kind of just would seemingly got a little antsy, jumped up a little bit, and came back down, and then tried to start that dribble. And we know from the rules you can't leave your feet and then try to initiate the dribble. And I think she even comes down before she even initiates. She was pretty delayed on it.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
But
she was.
even if she does release that ball, and you can't quite tell from this angle when that ball comes out of her hand, but it is certainly after she leaves her feet. So yeah, that was probably travel, and looks like we missed it. Though what was the result of the play? Did she turn it over anyway?
Yeah, ball went out of bounds.
Ball went out of bounds. So basketball justice was served. But looks like we probably did miss a travel there.
Just FYI, I will say we get coaches who send clips, and this in traveling is probably the clip that was sent to our assignment director and to me about traveling on the girl side. This was a thing that kind of drove some coaches crazy this past year. Just FYI on that.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, it's good to know. Missed travels, there's a reason why the Inside the NBA crew gets such a good beat on their missed travel segment, but it happens to everybody. But yeah, good to be, what to look for. Need to be aware of that for sure. We missed this one. Post entry pass. Lots of times, the ball's up high. So maybe we went with our eyes, looked up high, and we didn't see the feet. That happens. Maybe we were anticipating contact, and so we took our eyes off the feet. Hard to say, but it doesn't seem that there's really there's no contact imminent. So
no,
maybe the lead down there could have widened out a little bit in anticipation of that pass, getting a wider angle. Maybe we're straight line with the feet, couldn't see it. So, Diana, to your earlier point about positioning, we move with the ball on the inline, right? As the ball widening out, we're widening out right with it. And if we're 2 or 3 steps wider when she's catching that ball, we have a perfect look to pick that up. We probably get the call right. We're pretty straight line right there. He's right on the lane line, maybe a step out of it, and so is she. So maybe he was in position, man. We just didn't see it. But you know what? I think we can all agree that we put a highlight clip there. Every single missed a travel or two last year. So, but we just try to get better.
What if it appears that the primary defender has a hand on the ball as she started to right after her original jump stop, and it looks like it almost causes her to lose the ball.
Yep.
So if that's the case, then it's not a travel.
Well, I think she's already traveled by the time that happens.
She has it right there, and she's already right there.
Yeah. See, she just took a little hop, basically, just kind of hopped with it real quick there, and But I see what you're saying. If she hadn't have taken that hop, and the girl and the defender looks like number 21, 24, gets her hand in there and not all loose, then that's a different discussion, right? Because now we don't have possession of the ball. And that was the fundamental element is, do I have possession of the ball? You can't travel if you don't have possession of the ball, right? So if someone knocks it away, then we don't have that possession. But she had already taken that little hop and traveled before that happened.
I think it's just poor coaching because the girl didn't have the ball chin to start with, so she put it at rest down her knees.
She did turn it over, right? So there was that. But
be careful. Let's hope that we don't have a coach on the call.
Yeah,
no coaches on the call. Careful.
Well, good deal, guys. That was a lot of good clips. I had a couple other notes. There were some clips we didn't have on here that the sort of common travel scenarios would be in transition. Lots of times the pass out to the 3-point shooter will catch the ball and then kind of jump, set, and then take the shot. And that's one where sometimes we'll see travels called or not called, and they'll be close. What you're looking for there, guys, is the player, did they start their jump? Are they in the air when they receive the pass? In which case they're good. Or did I receive the pass, then jump in the air and land back down and shoot? And in which case that's a travel. Similar to the last play we saw. That's a very common one. You see it a lot in transition and fast break. Coaches are on it. Sometimes we call it, sometimes we don't. And then my overriding message would be on this is to be consistent with your partners, right? If you're calling that all game, don't stop calling it at the end. And if we haven't called it all game long and it's the tie ball game with 3 seconds left, and now you decide to call it, boy, you're going to get yourself in some trouble. So be consistent, be accurate, don't guess, and know the rule. I think you guys will be good to go. Any last minute questions, comments?
I was gonna ask Devin, this is Michael, on that coverage, who would you be okay with helping on that play? If we had any help on that catch into the paint, who would you be okay with helping get that call?
The last one we just saw, the steal player?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, that's obviously right in Leeds' lap. I mean, that's Leeds' call to make. Now, could Trail make that call? Potentially, yes. Being from the high side, maybe they did see it, but you know, that's kind of one where I'm that Trail. Don't count on me getting that travel for you. You know, that's tough. Now, could it have happened? Sure. I don't think C's going to call it all the way across the paint. That's not C's responsibility. We don't want to be calling violations way outside of our area like that, even though they may be accurate. But as we saw the last time, they thought that it was accurate and he missed it the last time C called it from way across the paint. So we don't want to do that. Let's trust our partners. And you know what? If our partner misses a travel, then so be it. And look at this particular play. If Trail does come in and rescue it with the travel call, well, the girl turned the ball over 2 seconds left anyway. Now the guy on the end line looks like a jerk because he didn't make the call. The partner came in and overruled him, or came into his area. That's tough. Let's give our partner a chance to make that call. Hopefully they'll get it right. 90+% of the time. So that's
David,
David,
this is Mark Strong. It's a Trail. I see that play. I know it's a travel. League don't get it. You're not okay with a cadence whistle and calling travel on that play?
Potentially, yes. But by the time that cadence whistle came in, I think she turned it over already. Yeah, it was so on that particular play. That's the tough one. And then the other thing is you got to know what's been going on the whole game, right? Is that the fourth quarter and has similar post play been going the other way when you were maybe at C or not in the way, and you come in out of your area to make this call? But are you going to come in out of your area and make every single travel call? So those are just things to consider. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying be aware of that before you come outside of your primary to make a violation, to call a violation. It's just need to be 100% sure, and you need to think about some of the ramifications when we come out of our area for violations.
I'm just thinking, like, if you sitting there right by that coach, opposing coach, see that, he know you looking at it and you don't call it, he's gonna be all up in your ear too.
Well, you know what the best thing to say is, right? Sorry, coach. I was looking at my primary. I'm focused on my matchup, coach. I trust my partner. And sometimes, guys, we've all had to say that line and know, yeah, we might have missed one, but we don't throw our partners under the bus. So maybe you do make the call, but if you don't, we don't say, oh shoot, well, my partner missed it. We don't say that. Hey, I'm focused on my matchup. I trust my partner, or some variation of that.
Good point. Anybody else have questions for Devin or any other discussions or things on traveling, illegal dribble, or anything else like that?
No, ma'am. It was good.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks for the time tonight, guys. This was fun. Talk a
Great
little
job,
shop on a
Devin.
Monday night. Thanks for having me.
Thanks you, Devin. Appreciate you taking the time. Good job. One last thing. So we have the next session, Zoom sessions. We have 2 more left. They will take place in October. So the next one is going to be on October 9th. And you don't want to miss that one. That's going to be a good one. It's about crew communication. And the person leading that session is going to be Jenna Renault. She is a WNBA and part-time NBA basketball official. She came from Texas high school basketball out of North Texas chapter. And I met her last summer and she really wants to help organizations like ours. So she'll be leading crew communication on the 9th. And then we'll have our last one, which will be again addressing rule changes. So we will, Frank, our rules interpreter, will talk about the rules at this meeting coming up Sunday. But because there's so many and it's so important, we're going to go ahead and reiterate them again in a Zoom the week before season starts. So please make sure to join for the next two. We'll send out a Zoom link again. I appreciate you guys joining. The other thing I know Marvin wants me to remind people of is rules tests. Take your tests. Marvin, anything you want to reiterate on that? Rules and mechanics. You there?
No, everybody just needs to get in there and start working on it. You know, season will be here before you know it. We don't spend a little time to take care of it. Take care of that, take care of paying our dues, take care of paying assignment fees. Get it done before you put the uniform on and hit the floor.
Yep. Good points, Marvin. Well, thanks again, everybody. Devin, again, thank you, and hope everybody has a great night, and see you all on Sunday at the meeting. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.